What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. So this is gonna be my first impression and the stat speculation for this year's Valentine banner that we're getting. So we did see a bit of that in the FEH channel, but we didn't really know what their weapons did or their skills did. We did see some things here. So the first thing that we have is Gustav, father of Alfonse and Sharina, and he's an axe armor unit. So I really love his art. He looks like a Greek god, so I'm a big fan of art of this banner in general, honestly. He has got a preferred weapon in Loyalist Axe, so this gives you -1 special cooldown, and in the enemy phase it's always going to be active, or if the foe's HP is above 75% at the start of the combat, he can inflict -6 attack and debuff on the foe during the combat, and also reduces the damage from foe's first attack by 75%. So it's kind of similar to the quarterly weapons we saw, like quarterly candle, quarterly bow, basically having this damage reduction only if the foe can double attack. So this is extremely good on slow units, and Gustav is going to be a pretty slow unit, I think, so this goes really well with him. And this also means that you don't want to run something like Weary Fighter on him, because he requires to get doubled so that he could get the damage reduction. The special cooldown reduction is definitely pretty amazing with like high cooldown specials, Ignis, Ether, stuff like that, especially if you pair it up with Special Fighter or these special acceleration skills in general. So overall, a pretty good weapon, and he has got Ignis, which becomes a 3-turn special with his preferred weapon, Close Defense 4 and Crafty Fighter 3. Crafty Fighter 3, it does give him the guaranteed follow-up attack, also makes him have guard effect, which is really good for a very slow unit like Gustav, and that just means that the opponent is not going to be able to charge up their specials. But Special Fighter is going to be a pretty good option as well if you want to retaliate back with something like a Bonfire, which is going to be doing quite a lot of damage. And we do have some new skills in defense, resistance, near save. So these are the save skills basically. I think this might be exclusive to armor units. Looking at their icon, I'm not really too sure. We'll get to know about it tomorrow probably in the data mine. So basically, if the opponent uses any kind of melee range weapon and initiates combat against an ally who's within 2 spaces of the unit, it triggers the Savior on unit. And if the unit triggers Savior, then they also get +4 defense and resistance during the combat. So the Savior is type of a condition where unit can basically move in place of the ally and take the damage instead. So it's pretty much like if you've played Pokemon, it's kind of like follow me attack, where any kind of attack is directed towards you. So we did see that in the trailer actually. So Savior is going to be allowing him to basically protect many of the units, and it doesn't really require him to have ally support or anything like that. Like look at that, he just protected Alfonse right there. I think this is a pretty cool skill overall, and this basically allows you to protect potentially weak unit to melee attacks with this kind of thing. So for example, if you have mage who is really frail on the defensive side, Gustav can be within 2 spaces of them, and Gustav will basically take any kind of melee hits for them, and they are going to be getting attacked by a range unit. But basically you can have double tanking strategy much more effectively with these save skills in my opinion. So this is going to be a really interesting skill, and I think this might change a lot of things for armor units. Not really too sure if it's going to be armor exclusive or not, but I feel like it might really be. It's been a while since we haven't got any kind of armor exclusive skills. Well, for the stats of Gustav, I forgot about that. I think he's going to be having stat spread similar to this. We can calculate his defense with the Ignis that he triggers, and he's going to be slow. He's getting doubled by a Sword Cavalier, who's already such a slow generic enemy. And Gustav's weapon does require him to be really slow so that he could get doubled. So I think he's going to be pretty min-max actually, having low speed, high attack stat, high defense, and pretty workable resistance at 30. He also does have pretty respectable amount of HP at 49. The next unit we have is Henriette. She did place really well in Choose Your Legends 5, so definitely a very popular unit, and she is a rare unit as well because of her class type. She's a red mage armor. The last one we had was Winter Tharja, and that was back in 2017. So it has been a long time since we have got a red mage armor. She's going to be having more BST than Winter Tharja, of course. She's got Unity Blooms Plus, which is an inheritable weapon. Its activation condition is really easy to meet, so you just need to be within 2 spaces of an ally, and if so, then you can inflict -5 attack and resistance debuff on the foe during the combat, and if the unit deals any kind of damage to the foe, even if it's like a 0 damage, you're gonna be recovering 4 HP per hit. So you can basically recover 8 HP if you double attack, and this is kind of similar to the like winter weapons like Candy Cane Plus, which Jafar had. So this is really good for self-sufficiency actually, and this goes really well with a bulky unit like her, who also has Slick Fighter, which does require you to have a certain threshold HP for its activation. So the self-healing is really good, and the debuff on the foe during the combat is also really good for her because she's an armor unit, she doesn't have access to lot skills, and this brings another inheritable weapon for red mages. We didn't really have too many good red inheritable weapons, so I'm really happy that we have got an option, but it's on a 5-star locked seasonal, and she does have some really good other skills which you could fodder her off for. So she's got Distant Defense 4, Iceberg. Slick Fighter is also really good skill for any kind of armor units because armor units are big ball of stats. They're really susceptible to chill skills, shrine debuffs and stuff like that. So Slick Fighter can just help them against that. And then she's got a new skill in AR Far Save. This is basically the attack and resistance and ranged version of Gustav's skill. So she can get attack and resistance during the combat when she triggers the Savior. And she can basically switch places when the ally within 2 spaces is getting attacked by a ranged unit. I can see this being more useful than Gustav's skill, to be honest, because many of the range units can be really threatening and annoying, and you know, you just slap the skill on someone like Brave Edelgard, and if you have someone who's weak to magical units within 2 spaces of her, then Brave Edelgard will basically swap places and take the range hits for those units, and Brave Edelgard does have pretty good resistance, defense in general to deal with those kinds of units. So I think this version of the save skill is going to be much more popular than Gustav's skill. I can also see application of this in Aether Raid's defense as well as offense. In Aether Raid's offense, you can basically run like double tanks, and range units are going to be pretty common enemy types. So that's why the range version is going to be much better. And this can also stop hit and run strategies on Aether Raid's defense, I guess. So you could protect your units from maybe someone like Ninja Lin, Layla, stuff like that, which are really threatening. So the armor unit can basically swap in and take the hit from that range unit and most of the time live, because they're probably going to be having much better bulk for dealing with those kinds of units than a frail unit. So I could see that being a thing, honestly. So here she's going to destroy this Bocavalier with that Iceberg, and I think that she's going to be having a stat spread similar to this. She does have resistance around 40, we can calculate that using the Iceberg damage. And she does take damage from the Bocavalier, so again we could calculate the defense. She does not have the highest attack stat. I don't think she's going to be having more than 40 attack basically. So somewhere around 36, 35 or even 37. And she's not going to be as slow as Gustav because her weapon doesn't really require her to get double to get damage reduction or anything really. So she's not going to be that min-max when it comes to her speed, which is a shame because Winter Tharja was really min-max for that time when she came out, but I don't think Henriette is going to be having very low speed. So that is Henriette, a very unique unit who comes with really good fodder and also comes with a unique skill and also has a unique class type herself, which is not really all that saturated whatsoever. And then we have Valentine Alfonse. So Alfonse is of course a pretty popular OC and the most popular order of heroes basically, because he did place really well in Chooser Legends. So just like his mom, he is an armor mage. He's a green armor mage, and he does have the inheritable version of the same weapon which his mother has, but this is a green tome, so this could be available to many of the green units. And he's actually going to be a 4-star focus unit, which is pretty amazing, and we are going to be able to get Bullfighter on a 4-star focus unit, which just goes to show you how far we have come. Because Bullfighter also has some competition in other fighter skills which are really good. Defense Rest Form is also a rare skill, and it's a new skill. It does get outclassed by a lot of the Unity skills, but Defense Rest Unity is probably not going to happen for a good amount of time. It just seems really strong. So Defense Rest Form is available here, I guess. And Alfonse is going to be attacking this Axe Flyer. We have seen his stats actually from the FEH channel, so we already have the confirmed stats. He does have pretty good attack stat and does have, you know, 25 speed, which is really awkward. He does have high defense and workable resistance, so overall a pretty good armor mage in my opinion, especially because he can be plus and merge easily due to being a 4-star focus unit. Does have some good fodder as well in both fighter. And then the final unit that we have is not Sharina. Sharina is just forgotten, of course, on this Valentine banner. Instead, we have got Duo Lif and Thracier. So they are a red mage cavalry unit. We don't really have too many red mage cavaliers, so this is definitely a pretty unsaturated class type as well in my opinion. And Duo Lif seems to be a really strong unit. So he has got Thalfi, which gives him +3 attack stat, and if he's within 3 spaces of an ally, he can get +6 to all of his stats during the combat, and he also gets a free follow-up attack, and he can also reduce the damage reduction skills by 50%. And after all of that is done, he deals 20 damage to the nearest ally, similar to the normal version of Lif. So this weapon can basically reduce the damage reduction you get. So for example, if you have a unit with close call or repel and they're getting the max damage reduction of 40%, then this skill can reduce that to 20% damage reduction. Of course, it doesn't really get rid of it, but you're going to be taking a bit more damage than what you expected. So it just cuts the damage reduction that you get from your weapon or your skill by 50%. The free follow-up is definitely much appreciated because Duo Lif doesn't have very good speed. He does have 30 defense, which does become like over 40 defense with attack defense push and his preferred weapon. He just has a perfect base kit, honestly. Attack defense push for lull attack resistance, which is absolutely amazing. And he comes with a new line of skill in Fatal Smoke. Now this kind of skill is definitely gonna be a pretty popular skill on many units, namely Kronia. Now Kronia can get advantage if the foe is not at full HP. So you run her with Bolt Tower with Duo Hector with the Savage Blow, double Savage Blow on her. And Kronia's main strategy is basically to snipe the healing tower so that your units cannot really heal up. But she no longer really needs to snipe the healing towers because Fatal Smoke is just gonna stop any kind of healing. So the healing tower is not going to be functioning. This could also be used against the player in Aether Raid's defense by having Fatal Smoke to, just check many kind of self-healing tanks. And even, someone like Brave Claude really hates this kind of skill because his whole weapons thing is basically giving him the healing, a lot of healing. So Fatal Smoke can stop that. And this can just be such an annoying skill to face in Abyssal content, honestly. I can just already see it. This skill is going to be blocking the healing, which AR does with Sparkling Boost. If you run someone like Brave Veronica or any kind of healer. Similar to how Panic Smoke works, if you kill the opponent who does have Fatal Smoke in their base kit, and if you just kill them in one round of combat and they're not alive, then they're not going to be inflicting Fatal Smoke on you. So it's really important to get rid of them for that unit that's going to be getting attacked by them. So Fatal Smoke is going to be a really good skill in players' hands as well. And it is going to be really annoying skill to face as well in something like an Abyssal map. So this basically stops the foe from recovering HP during or after the combat, and this status can be applied to the target as well as the foes within 2 spaces of the target. So it's just a smoke skill which can stop healing, which does seem really strong to me, honestly. Kronia's best Lotsie skill in my opinion. We are definitely going to be seeing a lot of Kronias running this skill, and this just means that in Aether Raid's context, Catapult, Duma has risen in the value because you're gonna smash the Bolt Tower of the enemy. Also, Duo Hindrance is gonna be a necessity basically against Duo Hector. But still, Kronia can herself just inflict the Savage Blow damage and then stop any kind of healing. But you'll have to have the opportunity cost basically by having Fatal Smoke and Slotsy instead of having another Savage Blow. Duo Lif does have a duo skill as well, which we did see in the FEH channel actually, but we didn't really know what it was. It did do some damage, but we didn't really know like on what basis it did that. So basically the duo skill can inflict max up to 40 damage to foes within 3 spaces. It basically adds 10 to the 50% of the total damage that the allies within 3 spaces have taken, so this can scale up to 40. When it comes to its Aeon effect, it's definitely much weaker than Duo Hector's, which just has really good range, but it does do more damage than Duo Hector, which is 40, and it also inflicts -7 attack and speed debuff on foes within 3 spaces of Duo Lif, which is definitely pretty strong. So that is going to be the Valentine banner. It does bring some new skills, and it does bring some unique units in 2 armor mages, which we don't really see that many times. And let me know in the comments, what do you think about this Valentine banner? Are you going to be pulling on this? I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support, and if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as healing when you have got hit with fatal smoke. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.